All right, let's jump right in. I want to share a story with you today, and it's all about perspective. You know, it's about how tackling one of those huge, totally overwhelming goals can become, well, possible just by looking at it in a completely new way.
So let's set the scene. Meet David. It is a miserable morning. It's cold, it's raining, and his alarm just blared at 4:45 a.m. Ugh. His legs feel like concrete. He's just completely wiped out, physically and mentally. And every single part of him is screaming, "Stay in bed." That journey ahead of him, it doesn't even feel like a goal anymore. It feels like a punishment.
And what's looming over him? This number, 23. 23 weeks. That's what's just haunting him. That's how much time he has until the marathon. Can you imagine? Staring at that calendar, it must have looked like an endless ocean of miserable runs and way too early mornings. Just this colossal challenge.
And that brings us to our first part, the impossible mountain. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's that feeling when a goal is just so massive, so huge, it feels, well, impossible to climb.
Yeah, for David, the sheer size of this thing was just crushing him. It wasn't about one run. It was this sea of scheduled runs stretching out for months and months. That daily grind felt totally unsustainable. And his motivation? It was already hitting rock bottom. I mean, how is anyone supposed to keep that up for 23 weeks straight? But this is where the story turns. And it's all thanks to what we're calling the coffee pot epiphany. The best part? This huge moment of insight didn't come from some famous coach or a self-help book. Nope. It came from one of the most boring, everyday routines you can think of. So, feeling totally defeated, David just drags himself to the kitchen to make coffee. You know the drill. It's something he's probably done thousands of times without even thinking about it. But this morning was different. For some reason, he just stops and watches.
And what he sees is just how simple it is. The coffee machine doesn't just dump all the water in at once, right? It just does one tiny, simple thing over and over again. A single drop falls, then another, and another. It's slow, yeah, but it's consistent. It's methodical.
And that's it. That's the epiphany. The coffee pot isn't worried about making a full pot. It has no idea. Its only job, its entire purpose in that moment, is to make the next drop. It's completely focused on the immediate task. And by just doing that, one drop at a time, it ends up getting the big job done perfectly.
So this leads to a whole new mindset for him, one drop at a time. He's taking this lesson from his kitchen and applying it straight to his marathon training.
And this change in focus it's everything. He just stops obsessing about mile 26 or the 23 weeks or the hundreds of miles. He just throws all that out. Instead, he breaks that huge, scary goal down into the smallest possible piece, just the next step. That's it. That's all that matters. And this is such a great way to see the difference between motivation and discipline, isn't it? See, motivation, that's a feeling. It comes and goes. It's great for getting you started, for sure, but you can't count on it. Discipline, no, that's a choice. It's consistent. It's what actually gets you across the finish line. So David makes a decision. He's going to stop waiting to feel like running and just choose to do it.
Now, this whole new mindset wasn't about being perfect. Not at all. Some mornings were awful, and maybe he'd only run 3 miles instead of the 8 on his plan. But then, some mornings he felt amazing and ran even more than he was supposed to. The point wasn't perfection. The key was just showing up. Every single run, whether it was good or bad, was just another drop in the pot. And you know what? As long as he kept adding drops, that pot was going to fill up, one way or another.
Okay, so fast forward, here we are, race day. After 23 weeks of one drop at a time, his whole new way of thinking is about to face the ultimate test.
And the race itself is its own crazy journey, right? Mile 1 is just a protest. His body is not happy. By the halfway point, mile 13, he's found his rhythm. The pot's half full. But then, mile 20, the infamous wall. This is where things get really tough, where most people fall apart. And just beyond that wall is the finish line. So when he smacks right into that wall at mile 20, legs are screaming, energy is just gone. What do you think he does? He doesn't start panicking about the 6.2 miles he has left. No way. He goes right back to his mantra, the coffee pot. His entire world shrinks to one single focus, one more step. Just one more drop.
And he just keeps pushing through, one step at a time, until finally he sees it, the finish line. And yeah, his body is absolutely wrecked, but his mind? It's totally clear. He isn't overwhelmed by the enormity of it all because his focus isn't on the finish line. It's on the step, then the next step.
And that brings us to the real takeaway here, the discipline to finish. Because let's be honest, the medal they hang around your neck, that's not the real win. The true victory here was something so much bigger.
The real victory was that shift in his mindset. It was this complete change in how he understood what it takes to achieve something big. Here's the bottom line. Motivation, that'll get you to the starting line. But discipline, that steady, patient, one drop at a time discipline, that's what actually carries you across the finish.
You know, when you look back, there wasn't one single day that was the day. Nothing monumental happened. But over the entire journey, everything changed. It was all those tiny, almost insignificant choices adding up. We're talking 6,000 drops, one morning, one run, one choice at a time that filled the pot and made the impossible happen.
So I'll leave you with this. What's your marathon? What's that big, impossible mountain you're facing? And, maybe more importantly, what's your next drop?